All right, I wanted to do a series of short videos about one of my favorite topics, and that's of course the Little Brown Jug. As always, if you like these videos, subscribe, like, share them, all that good stuff. But to start off, if you want more information on the jug, go to mvictors.com and click the menu option at the top, the jug. And if you click on that, you'll see all the various stories in the series that I call Little Brown Jug Lore. And it's all there. It's my research that I started in 2009 and really continues to today, as we find out things and there's topics or questions that come up. So go check it out on MVictors. So today, what I want to talk about is one of the first stories I did was when the jug was stolen. And as a little piece of trivia, um, as far as we know, it's disappeared once, and that was from when Michigan had it in the early 1930s. And this was a topic when I read the official Michigan account of the jug history. It actually said it was gone from 1930 to 1934, and that kind of blew my mind that the jug would be gone for approximately 4 years in the 1930s, which I happen to know because it's a period I love, that Minnesota and Michigan were really powerful teams. In fact, from the early 30s to the mid 40s, Michigan and Minnesota claim around seven national titles, right? And they were going at each other during this period. So I had to find out more. And here's what I found out, and it's a crazy story. Um, so what really happened was the jug was actually missing for 2 years, and it started in 1931. And sometime in mid-September of that year, the jug disappeared from the administration building, which is I think the Hartwig building today, but it's right near the Michigan ticket office on State Street in Ann Arbor. And it did get the attention of the media. In fact, the New York Times in late October said, "Hey, the jug was recovered." And then they backed off that story by saying, "Hey, that's fake news. It sounds like that was an imitation." But then something really weird happened during the week of the Minnesota game, and we used to play Minnesota later in the schedule back then. And around November 19th, a Cadillac, pulled up to a gas station on the outskirts of Ann Arbor, and it's actually where the Bear Claw Coffee is today. If you know town, there's a split where it splits from Washtenaw and Stadium. It kind of splits right there. Washtenaw splits off to Stadium and actually heads right down, of course, to Michigan Stadium a few miles later. But four guys wearing dark goggles rolled out this jug at the gas station, and this gas station attendant, a guy named KD Smith, picked it up and reported, to the local media that this jug had been dropping off, and there's great photos of it, right? And so they took it back to the U of M athletic department and even had Yost look at it. And Michigan said, "Hey, this is the jug. It's been returned, but there's a few problems. The jug had fresh paint on it, and even the media back then, who were looking at it, and they didn't have the benefit of the internet and all these photos everywhere, right? Just said, "Hey, this looks like, quote, a clever imitation." And Michigan ended up winning the game, tucked the jug away. But then in 1932, we head to Minneapolis, right? We go back to Minnesota for the game, and the press is all over this jug, this question of the jug. Is this jug that showed up at the gas station the real thing? And even Yost is there. They have a lot of people from Michigan are there, including Yost, who's the athletic director at this time. Um, he says, "Yeah, yeah, sure, this is the real jug," right? So, and again, the media isn't buying it. Oscar Munson, the man who found the jug in 1903, thinks it's been a fake. In fact, he thinks it's been a fake since the late 20s, and he wants to get a look at it. But of course, Minnesota hasn't had it since 1920, 1927 or 29, right? So they haven't had it for a little while. Um, so finally, Michigan ends up winning that game, and they take it back to Ann Arbor. So again, um, Oscar, Minnesota don't get their hands on it, so they really can't chime in on the authenticity of the jug. Well, the whole thing got a little weird in August, so we're heading into 1933. And what happened was another jug shows up on campus, right? And apparently around East University, somewhere down there, this jug shows up, finds it, right? So the whole thing's a little suspicious, but he finds this jug. And then Yost says, figure out, disregard whatever I said about the 1931 gas station jug. Yost says, this is the real jug, okay? Um, so again, there's still questions about Oscar Munson's concerned about the whole thing. He thinks Munson accused Fielding H. Yost of hiding the thing and returning it. There's other implications within the Michigan Athletic Department, but the game ends in a tie, which again, if you know your jug history, in a tie, kind of like the Ryder Cup, the team that had the jug before gets to retain it. But then in 1934, the next season, Gerald Ford, of course, future President Gerald Ford's senior year and MVP of the team. Michigan gets crushed in Minneapolis, 34 to nothing, and the jug is returned. And uh, Oscar Munson, looks at it and he says, "Yeah, this is indeed the real jug." Right? So this brings up a ton of questions, right? What happened here? Who did this? Is this really the real jug? And then on top of that, did the jug, really survive not only this disappearance, but since its inception in 1903? And these are questions I'll get into in future episodes. So again, if you enjoy this, um, like it, subscribe, share with your friends, and I'll produce more of these to come.